Hello everyone! It's time for an English lesson, and today with you there are two teachers, Natalia Dolzhenkova from school number 18.
Hi everyone, and Anzhelika Buravenko from school number 219. Let's start! By the end of our today's lesson, you will be able to identify and use different verb patterns and also exchange information about your hobbies and interests.
Well, when we make up a sentence in English, we sometimes need to put two verbs together. Do you know what is verb? It is an action. When we put two actions together, we need to use the second action, the second verb, in ing form or in the infinitive form. So, let's start with the ing form. Here we can see some verbs that are followed by the verb with ing form. Well, we have avoid, can't help, can't stand, spend time, enjoy, fancy, feel like, finish, imagine, practice, don't mind, and suggest. Well, let's see some examples here. John suggested playing chess. Well, the word suggested is followed by ing form of the verb play, so it's playing. British teenagers like watching TV. Well, I can't stand being late. Well, me too. Do you fancy going out tonight? This fancy verb is followed by the verb with ing form. Well, and
here are some verbs that are usually followed by the infinitive. Let's look onto our chart. After agree, decide, expect, fall, hope, manage, mean, offer, prepare, pretend, promise, refuse, seem, and want, the other verb should stand with to infinitive. Let's read some examples. Do you promise to come? That means that after promise, you need to put the other verb with to, come. George decided to take up a new hobby, try his hand, try something new. After decide, we usually also use the infinitive form. We hope to finish school early today. That may be our dream for today. Kay agreed to help me with the cleaning. After agree, we usually use to infinitive. So, Anzhelika, what's the rule for whether the ing form or the infinitive?
unfortunately, there isn't any rule. You just have to learn which verb goes to which verb pattern. Well, but that's not the whole news today. There are some verbs that are followed both by infinitive or ing form.
After such verbs as begin, continue, hate, like, love, and start, and also don't forget about prefer, in such a way, after the verbs begin, continue, hate, like, love, and don't forget about prefer, we usually use both forms, the ing and the infinitive. Let's look onto our examples. It started raining or it started to rain. Let's look onto this pattern that after the verbs like, love, and hate can be followed by ing form or the infinitive when we are talking about repeated actions. I love reading long novels, and also I can say I love to read long novels.
So, I love learning grammar rules and I love to learn grammar rules are both okay?
Exactly. They are okay.
Thank you. Well, but when we're talking about situations, we use ing form. Look here, please. Paulo loves living by the beach in Rio. Or, do you like working as a waitress? These two are situations, and we need here ing form after the verb.
Anzhelika, if I'm not mistaken, we use verb pattern when we express our opinions. Am I right?
Yes, you're absolutely right.
Okay, let's look. Love reading, love to read. Loves living by, like working as a waitress, yeah? That is, in such a way we try to express our opinions.
Opinion, and we're talking about our interests. Well, let's just revise the table, the whole table. Well, we have here verb plus infinitive, verb plus ing form, and both. And it's time to have some fun. Could you please help?
Yes. Your task is to match each verb to the correct category. The first one, Anzhelika.
Doing.
Doing. And Natalia, to do. Ready, steady, go. Press the button OK. Manage comes to do. Imagine comes to,
well, it's
doing.
Imagine doing.
Keep
doing.
Hope come to my place to do.
Can't stand. I can't stand being late, so can't stand doing.
Avoid something.
Avoid doing.
Hate. Oh, Anzhelika, you win the race. Decide. Hooray, it's for me. Decide to do.
Enjoy. It's
still
mine.
For you. Seem, it's mine. Seem to do.
Well, fancy. Fancy doing. Well, do you fancy going out?
I agree to do something.
Expect.
Also, I expect that our lesson will be excellent.
Well, don't mind. I don't mind doing extra.
I promise to be a better teacher. Would like the same. I would like, need to do something
like doing. But we know that the verb like goes with both categories, ing and infinitive. Admit.
To you.
Well, it's mine. Go to me. Whoa.
Refuse comes to do and would like. That is for me. Let's check. Everything is okay. Well done. Good job.
Well, it was a useful fun. And now we have to complete some sentences. Well, could you start, please, Natalia?
Yes, Anzhelika, of course. I usually avoid eating unfamiliar food.
Well, next. I really can't stand being late.
That is absolutely true for you. I don't mind doing some extra work.
Well, you're a hardworking person.
Yeah,
She spends a lot of time playing with her dog. Well, we have spend and playing.
He sometimes pretends to be a pilot. Imagine himself.
Well, and I really want to visit Japan one day.
You know, Anzhelika, that is my dream too.
Okay.
I'm so interested.
Let's go together. Well, and now let's listen how these verb patterns we use in real life. So we have the dialogue here. Let's listen.
So what do you like doing in your free time, Jamie?
I love playing sport. How about you?
Oh, I can't stand playing sport. I prefer watching TV.
Really? I'm not that keen on watching TV. I'd rather chat to my friends online. What else do you like doing?
I quite like drawing, and I enjoy going to the cinema.
Me too. Do you fancy going to the cinema this evening?
Yeah, sounds good.
Well, and here you have some
our verb patterns like doing, love, playing sport, constant, that's the same that hate, playing sport, and also we are not highlighted there, prefer, After that, we usually use the ing form, keen on, when you are so impressed in something that is keen on watching TV. And I'd rather chat to my friends online. After enjoy, we usually use ing form, and don't forget about fancy joining us or fancy going to the cinema.
Well, and now let's have the task. Well, here we have some expressions. You know that to sound naturally, you don't...
Maybe, Anzhelika, because the English language is so diverse.
Yes, you're right.
And we can change a bit the structure to make our dialogues colorful.
Well, if you want to sound natural and interesting, use different word patterns and different structures. So let's try to find equivalents of these phrases in our dialogue.
That I understand you right? We need to underline phrases in this dialogue that mean the same that your expressions or phrases in...
Well, for example, how can we say I really like in other way?
I think that it should be I quite like. That means that instead of really like, I can usually use I quite like.
Well, next we have hate. And I think that the best variant to submit it is I can't stand.
If I want to change I prefer, I can usually use I'd rather.
Would you like to do something? Well, and we can say, in other words, do you fancy going? Well, pay attention that when we use the phrase would like to do, we use the infinitive form, and after the verb fancy, we have to use ing form.
And the last structure, I don't like something very much. That instead of this phrase, I can also use I'm not that keen on. And let's look after that. Don't like, we can use both forms, the infinitive or the ing form. But after keen on, we can use only ing form.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Well, and now let's listen to these word patterns in real life once again. So we have 4 dialogues. People will say about their interests and discuss their hobbies. Your task is to listen to these dialogues very carefully, pay attention to key words, and then answer. What hobby does each pair discuss? Let's start with the first, Natalie and Jacob.
Natalie and Jacob.
What do you enjoy doing in your free time, Jacob?
I'm really into music.
Cool. What's your favourite band then?
Kings of Leon. What do you think of them?
I'm not really a fan.
No? They're amazing. Who do you like then?
I'm really into Maroon 5.
Really? I quite like them too.
I've just downloaded their new album. Do you want to come round this evening and have a listen?
Cool. I'd love to.
Okay, what do you think, Natalia? What key words?
Angelika, I've heard some key word there. It was music, it was Maroon 5, it was the King of Leon, and also album and listen. Everything,
yeah, listen to music.
Each of these words are connected with one hobby. It's music. Because I am fond of music too.
Well, let's move on to the second one.
Ethan and Issy.
What are you into then, Issy?
I love going to the cinema. I go every week.
Me too. What kind of films are you into?
I'm crazy about romantic comedies. I love them.
Really? I much prefer war films. Rescue Dawn is my favourite film of all time.
I'm not really a fan of war films. Too violent.
Oh. Maybe we should get together anyway sometime and go and see a film?
I don't think so. Do you know any violent romantic comedies?
Well, what I have heard here are these: cinema, films, romantic comedies, war films, and see a film. Well, I would rather say watch a film, but still they use see a film. So, and I think that everyone will agree with me, it is films. Well, their hobby is film. Well, next.
Mike and Ashley.
What do you like doing at weekends, Ashley?
I like surfing the net.
No way! Me too! I'm a big fan of YouTube. It's so funny.
I absolutely love blogs about famous people. I like reading about their lives.
Really? I think the lives of celebrities are a bit boring. I prefer watching normal people.
Well, I like YouTube too. Why don't you come round on Saturday afternoon and I'll show you a few of my favourite YouTube videos.
Cool. Sounds good.
Oh, Anzhelika, they've mentioned surfing the net, YouTube, blogs, celebrities, watching videos, and they are keen on surfing the net. I'm absolutely sure.
Well, let's check. Yeah, you're absolutely right. Surfing the net is their hobby. Well, and the last one, please. Listen.
Alex and Olivia.
What do you like doing in your free time, Olivia?
I'm fond of reading.
That's interesting. What kind of books do you like?
Sci-fi. I'm really into sci-fi books.
Are you? I prefer detective stories.
I don't really like detective stories. I find them a bit boring. I mean, they're not very realistic, are they?
And sci-fi stories are?
Yeah, but sci-fi stories aren't set in the real world, and they don't pretend to be, so that's different.
Maybe. I won't lend you my new detective book then.
Well, poor Alex. So, the keywords here are books, sci-fi books and detective stories, and lend a book. Do you know what is lend? It is when you want to give your books to someone else. And here is reading. Their hobby is reading.
Anzhelika, if I'm not mistaken, we have one more task which will be connected with all these dialects.
Yes, we have it.
Let's start.
Well, here is the task. You have to fill in the gaps in this exercise in each of the sentences with words absolutely, a bit, big, fan, fond, into, and much. Well, shall we try to read the dialogue out? Okay. What do you enjoy doing in your free time, Jacob?
I'm really into music.
Cool. What's your favorite band then?
King of Leon, what do you think of them?
I'm not really a fan.
No, they are amazing. Who do you like then?
I'm really into Maroon 5.
Really? I quite like them too.
I've just downloaded the new album. Do you want to come around this evening and have a listen?
Cool, I'd love to. That is, to complete two first sentences with the appropriate word from the list. I'm not really a fan. Right. I'm really into Maroon 5. Let's move on to the second dialogue. What are you into then, Izzy?
I love going to the cinema. I go every week.
Me too. What kind of films are you into?
I'm crazy about romantic comedies. I love them.
Really? I much prefer war films. Rescue Dawn is my favorite film of all.
I'm not really a fan of war films. They're too violent.
Oh, maybe we should get together anyway sometime and go see a film.
I don't think so. Do you know any violent romantic comedies?
No.
Well, we have to complete the third and the fourth sentences. Well, I prefer were films, and here goes much. I much prefer. It means I like them very much. Well, and now let's move on. Dialogue number 3. What do you like doing at weekends, Ashley?
I like surfing the net.
No way, me too. I'm a big fan of YouTube. It is so funny.
I absolutely love blogs about famous people. I like reading about their lives.
Really? I think the lives of celebrities are a bit boring. I prefer watching normal people.
Well, I like YouTube too. Why don't we come around on Sunday afternoon and I'll show you a few of my favorite YouTube channels.
Well, that's cool. Sounds great.
Let's complete 3 more sentences with the words from the list. I am a big fan of YouTube. I absolutely love blogs. And I think the lives of celebrities are too a bit boring. If I use this word before an adjective, a bit, I make this adjective weaker.
Well, we have 2 more sentences, so let's read the last dialogue.
What do you like doing in your free time, Olivia?
I am fond of reading.
That's interesting. What kind of books do you like?
Sci-fi. I am really into sci-fi books.
Are you? I prefer detective stories.
I don't really like detective stories. I find them a bit boring. I mean, they're not realistic, are they?
And sci-fi stories are?
Yeah, but sci-fi stories aren't set in the real world, and they don't pretend to be, so that's different.
Maybe I won't let you my new detective book then.
Okay, thanks. Well, and we have 2 more sentences to complete. I am fond of reading. Don't forget that fond of, and then we have ing form. Well, and next, I'm really into sci-fi books. I'm really into. I love them very much.
Let's move on to the other task. And right now, we need to put the words in the correct order to make sentences. At first, let's look into the line and read all the sentences, all the words there. And after that, put them in a right order. 1. You read all the words in a line. After that, you put them in a right order. Into what are you? Let's put them in the correct order. What are you into? Let's answer for the question. What are you into, Anzhelika?
Well, I'm really into reading. I love detective stories and sci-fi books, whatever. I'm just crazy about reading. Well, next sentence we have, this is a question as well. So, do you know how to put them in order? Well, we have the question like this. What do you like doing at the weekends, Natalia?
If I'm talking about myself, I like watching my favorite movies. I'm crazy about films.
Well, what's your favorite?
Avatar. My favorite
one. Yeah.
It's a type of science fiction film. And when I watch it, I can't take away my eyes from the screen. Every time when I watch it.
It's really involving film. Well,
the next one.
Next we have.
What else do you like doing, Anzhelika?
Well, what else?
Instead of reading, I mean. I remember that you are a big fan of reading.
Yeah, I am. So, I like spending time with my family, and we often take our dog for a walk and spend time outside. So, I like this activity.
The next one.
What do you think of Imagine Dragons, Natalia?
Anzhelika, you know, I'm really a fan of rock music. That is, I'm really excited when I hear all their songs.
Well, let's move on. Next we have...
And what kind of films are you into?
Oh, films. I like detectives, well, and sci-fi. I like sci-fi films. Well, let's move on.
Here is a speaking strategy for you. In a conversation, react to what the other person says using phrases such as "Really? No way. Me too."
We also can say, "Can you?" Or, "That's interesting."
Absolutely. Me neither.
Cool.
Do you?
Wow, are you?
How can you say that?
Well, to speak natural, we have to use these phrases to react what our opponent says.
Why don't we have some practice?
Yes, let's start. Well, the first one. I'm really not into heavy metal.
Me neither. I'm a big fan of rock music. I really want to go windsurfing at the weekend.
Do you? That's interesting. I can't stand drinking hot chocolate.
Can you? No way. Me too. I prefer chatting on the phone to chatting online.
Really? Me too. Well, and the last one. I never agreed to do gymnastics.
Okay. What is it? How can you say that?
Well, maybe you're right. Never say never. Well, and now let's move on.
Right now, let's revise everything we have done today. At this lesson, we've learned about some verb patterns, and also we can identify and exchange our opinions about our interests and hobbies. Don't forget that in certain verb patterns, we can use two different forms and both of them. They are the infinitive, the ing form, or both of them after the list of the verbs. And be careful and react to your partner's words when you exchange your ideas with such words like "no way, me too." Can you? Wow, are you? How can I say that? Me neither. Do you? That's interesting and cool.
Well, thank you for the revision of the material, Natalia, and don't forget about your home task. So, at home you have to prepare a dialogue following the instructions below. Well, you have to just imagine that you have met for the first time in a new class at school. Ask and answer the questions about your hobbies. Give your opinion on your partner's hobbies. Don't forget about this. Well, don't forget to react to what he or she is saying. Well, agree on the hobby that you both like doing and suggest meeting this weekend to do the hobby together.
That's all for today. Thank you for your attention and don't forget about your homework to make your own dialogues. See you next week.
Okay, stay healthy and goodbye.